test.
Try to just do it on the finger up for a sign before.
Yeah, for the table was the
For us
homework.
to take a picture of it that way.
Yeah, it's not on the flyer.
Okay, okay, I will try to, let me write myself a note.
We'll be able to come in the morning.
I gotta make the test tomorrow morning. I mean, you come, I just am gonna be I'm not gonna be able to. Okay. All right, so let's start out with,
Sorry about this. Do you have any tea?
that's all I have readily available. And okay.
I apologize.
That's okay. Alrighty. So I'm not going to go over like the multiple choice here on the functional groups because all you have to do is look at that one. But I will go over the other ones. Okay, so you had on one of your quizzes, you were given this structure. And you were asked to circle the type of molecule. It is an alkyne. The molecular formula, 1, 2, 3, 4, there were 5 carbons, 1, 2, 3, 4 hydrogens, so that is your molecular formula. It cannot be reduced, so that would also be your empirical formula. And the ending would be YNE, -ine, on this. Line structure for the molecule, again, everywhere where you see a carbon, I'm just going to start out with my triple bond here. One, two, three, four, 5. Okay. If you had another version of that quiz, you were given this.
So when you draw the line structure, you wouldn't draw any of the hydrogens, right?
Yes, correct.
What is that? That's the...
This is quiz A.
So it's another problem?
Yeah. Okay. This is an alkane.
This got a single bond.
All single bonds. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. You've got 6, 8, 10, 12.
You think it's lagging like crazy.
Huh?
It's lagging.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was skipping.
Okay. I'm sorry about that.
What do you think causes
All right. So that is your molecular and your empirical formula both, because you cannot reduce that anymore. It's going to have the A&E suffix, line structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. It would look like that. Or you could even turn that upside down. You could turn it sideways. 1, 2, 3,
And how do you know if they're at an angle like that again?
5. Okay, remember looking at these, they don't form straight lines. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So Whether you do it this way, turn it upside down, same thing. Okay, another version of the test with,
Well, this will be on the test already. Stuff like that.
don't forget to note on your test
All
the
the
properties.
structure.
You've got to know properties, because if I take the time to write down all those properties, that takes away from doing the hard stuff in class. Okay? So like, make sure that you're reading, there's a section on the properties of carbon bonds at the very beginning. There's a section on the properties, specifically alkanes, like next to the last section, I think. Read it and know it, because you're going to have test questions on there about those properties. Make yourself some little quiz cards or whatever you need to do. Okay, so let's see, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All these were hydrogens here.
You might be lagging from your video.
Okay, so you've got 8 carbons, and it's going to have, this is an alkane, so it'll have the A-N-E suffix, and then if you haven't noticed, if you have alkanes, all single bonds, it's, the number of hydrogen is 2N plus 2. So 2 times 8 would be 16, plus 2 would be 18. So if we count, there's 3, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Okay. And line structure. Oh, so this is your molecular formula. Your empirical formula, C4H9. Line structure, you've just got 8 carbons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Then the last version of this quiz, you had a double bond.
What quiz was this?
There were 4 versions of the quiz,
Okay.
and y'all took 3 of the 4. Okay. So, this is an alkene with an E-N-E suffix. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 carbons. Then there's 3, 6, 9, 12, 14, 16, 18 hydrogens. This is your molecular formula. Your empirical formula, CH2. And your line structure, I'm going to start with my double bond here. These represent your 2 methyl groups. You got a methyl group over here, and then you've got a butyl group here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So now your textbook doesn't put the dots in your line structure, and in reality they're not supposed to be in the line structure, but you can wean yourself off of those. Does that make sense? So if your line structure looks like that with the dots, I'm fine with that at this point, okay? All right. Now let's go back and just put a name with these real quick, since that will only help us with naming. So if we look at this one, our longest chain is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we're going to use hept. We're going to start numbering where we have the lowest number of where our functional groups get the lowest number. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. The double bond occurs at carbon number 2, so we're going to say 2-heptene. Okay? Now, I've got a total of 3 methyl groups. So I'm going to use trimethyl because I've got 3. And then my methyl groups occur at carbon, 2 of them occur at carbon number 1, carbon number 2. So that would be 2, 2, and I'd have to show both 2's. And then the other one is at 3. So when you put it all together, you've got 2, 2, 3, trimethyl, 2-heptene.
And that, and you put the 2 because 2-heptene because
Because your double bond, you have to show where that double bond occurs.
what if there's a single one?
Then you wouldn't have
Would it be
heptane.
heptane?
Yeah. All right. So you were not asked to name these at this point on these quizzes because we hadn't gone over nomenclature yet, but again, it just is practice. On this one, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total. So that's going to be pent. And then we've got triple bonds. So we're going to have to use the Y and E. You want a number from this direction so that you have a triple bond beginning at 1. If you numbered from the other direction, your triple bond would begin at 2. Okay? The triple bonds occur at carbon number 1 and carbon number 3. Okay? So 1, 3 pentyne. 1, 3 pentyne.
I thought you wanted the longest chain, so why would you start with this triple bond?
Well, okay. The longest chain is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is our longest chain, right? And our only chain in this case because it's not branched. So that's where the pent comes from. Now, when I number, I have to number so that my substituents or whatever it is I'm trying to point out. In this case, I have to show whoever's trying to make the model or draw the model where my triple bonds are. Okay? And whenever you want to show where that is, you're going to start numbering so that it has a lowest number as opposed to a highest number.
Alright, so, and if you did the other way, it'd be 3, 1, and you don't like that.
It would be 2, 4 instead of 1, 3. Okay? All right, this one right here, super easy. You got 5 of them, no branching, no functional groups, pentane. All single bonds. Right here, very super easy. You got 8 of them, no branching, no functional groups, octane. Okay? Now, you received another quiz back.
One of those.
Oh, okay, can I see it real quick? So this was from quiz 4.
But how much of those questions were these 10 points, please?
Yes. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. And on the third one. Okay. Okay, your longest chain is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to get hex because it's 6, ane because it's all single bonds. We've got 2 methyls, so we're going to have to say dimethyl. And they occur no matter which way we go, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. So we'd have to go this way. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So 3, 3 dimethyl. So when we put it all together, we've got 3, 3 dimethyl hexane.
Why is it hexane?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons.
So if 2 substituents are the same, do you use like
I
di,
counted 5. I was doing 5.
What if they're different?
Then, yeah, you'd have to give them separate names. Like this one right here for number 2. Okay, number 2, you were given this structure. You had bromine, chlorine, and a methyl. Okay, so you're going to call it cyclo because it's in a cycle. Had to have that. Pentane because all single bonds. You got 5 of them. So pent is from the 5. A-N-E, all single bonds. Now when it comes to numbering, you remember you're going to number to where your substituents have the lowest numbers, and we're going to list them alphabetically. So if we number 1, 2, 3, okay, this one is bromo, this one is chloro, and this one is methyl. So we say 1 bromo, 2 chloro, 3 methyl, cyclopentane. Okay. Question number 3, you had 1,1,3 trimethyl cyclohexane. Okay, so I'm going to start out with my cyclohexane. I've got 6 of them. There's no double bonds there. I have 3 methyls. They occur at the 1 and the 3. Doesn't matter where I start. So let's just put 1 down here. I've got 2 methyls coming off of number 1. And let's go this way. Let's go this way. Let's say this is 2, this is 3. And 1 methyl coming off here. Okay? Then let's go over some that you had today, and then we'll go over homework that you did. So quiz 5 was the combustion of what now? Butane?
Butane.
All right. So butane, this is in those little cigarette lighters, you know, the little liquid.
Yeah.
So butane, 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons would look like this. So my formula would be C4H10.
Because it's butane.
Bute is for 4. That chart page. I can't remember what page it's on. Okay. Now, you didn't know that that was liquid, but it's the stuff that's in the little lighter, so it is liquid. Plus oxygen, that's always gas.
How do you know it's 10? Oh, because you have that, yeah, okay.
You're going to get carbon dioxide gas, and you're going to get water, gas. Okay, so remember when you're doing these, you know, there's a little trial and error going on here.
I got everything ready, so.
So if I start out, let's just try putting a 4 in front of there. And I'm putting it down low, you know, because I'm going to be marking it in and out. So if I do that, I've got 4 carbons, I've got, I'd have to put a 5 here. This won't work because I've got 8 oxygens here and 5 here. That gives me an odd number of oxygens. Huh?
I didn't know that she was going over the quiz, but I need to walk out.
She got here late.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to give you a different problem then.
You don't want me to just walk out?
I'll have to give you a different,
Yeah, I heard.
huh?
I haven't really been listening. Logan just told me she was going over the quiz. It don't matter anyway.
I
Just,
mean, there's different forms of it. Like
I'll just give you a different-
methyl.
no, you,
Everybody
everybody had the same quiz.
I didn't have
The bottom
Bottom was methyl. I'll just give you a different one. Okay. So immediately, once I notice that this is not going to jive up because I got an odd number, I'm going to put a 2 in front of there. And when I do that, now I've got 8 carbons, and I've got to put a 10 in front of here. All right, so I've got 8 times 2 is 16 oxygens plus 10 oxygens gives me a total of 23. 26, good. That means I would have to have 13 there. Okay, so this is good. 2, 13, 8, and 10. So my final numbers, 2, 13, 8, 10. Okay, and then you had a complete bromination. Yes.
Whenever you do the complete bromination, do you want us to show you each step every time of it?
Nope, I don't need to see that. Okay, complete bromination of methane. Okay, so this is exact, and I'm not going to go through this because it's exactly what we did yesterday, except instead of chlorine, you have bromine. Now, you're going to need 4 of these because it's going to go through the iteration 4 times, and you're going to get CBr4 plus 4 hydrobromic acids. Okay? And again, if you do this, I know that you know what you're doing. If you don't do this, I know you don't know what you're doing, so it wouldn't matter if you showed me those steps or not. Okay, let's go over some homework that you've had. On page 399. Okay, tell me, some of these were you had the answers in your book, but there was one of them you did not have the answers in your book.
It was,
What number was that?
55.
55? Okay, so it's always a good thing whenever you have the answers in your book. That way you can do it, look at it. If you get it wrong, go back and figure out where you went wrong. But number 55, you did not have those answers. So for number 55, you were given this structure, am I right? And then you had to name it? Okay. So first of all, I'm noticing that I've got 8 carbons, all single bonded in a cyclic structure. So there's cyclo-octane. 8 single bonds in a cyclic structure. You've got a propyl group here, 3 carbons. And your 3 carbons are not in a straight chain. In other words, they're not coming off there like this. Does that make sense? If you look in your book, there's a table in there that tells you like isopropyl, N-butyl, isobutyl. Okay, so make sure you know that stuff. I've been trying to hit it, but there's a chart in, I'm not sure what page it's on in chapter 12, but it shows you the iso, the sec, the tert, and all that stuff. Does anybody know what page it's on? It would be probably towards 378. Okay, yeah, and it shows you when to use iso, when to use tert, when to use sec, when to use N. Okay, so because it's in this structure where you've got methyl on either side, you're using isopropyl cyclooctane. This one right here, B, you've got 4 carbons all single bonded in a cyclic structure. So bute is your 4 carbons, ane, single bonds, cyclo, because it's in a cyclic structure, that's where we get cyclobutane. You got 2 ethyl groups there, so that's where we get the diethyl. And then you would number it either 1, 2, or 1, 2, it wouldn't matter. So 1, 2, diethyl cyclobutane. Right here, you've got 6 carbons, all single bonded. Is this an aromatic?
No.
No, because there's no what's present.
Double bonds.
No double bonds present. Okay, so cyclo, because it's in a cycle. Hex, because there's 6. Ane, because they're all single bonded. You've got 2 methyls, so you say dimethyl. No matter how you number it, whether you number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, they occur at carbon number 1 and 4. So you say 1, 4, dimethyl cyclohexane. And that was the only one that was not worked in your book, right? Okay. Are there any other quizzes or problems that you all did that you don't have the answers for that I didn't cover?
Any examples of isomers?
Okay? Examples of isomers. Okay. You also had another homework too, right? Out of your book where you name things and it talked about isomers or something, or not? Did I cover all of the homework that you did? Oh, okay, whether they're, all right. So, isomers, I think once I explain this, it'll be kind of obvious. Let's say you've got 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5 carbons. That are lined up like this. That's going to be C5H12, right? Okay. Now, I could rearrange these to where I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Same molecular formula, both of these, but they are 100% different. So like the shape, if you had some kind of enzyme in your body that was looking for this shape, it would not latch onto this shape because they do not fit. These are two different Lego blocks. You could do let's see if there's any other variations. 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4 times 3, 12 hydrogens. Okay, so notice that this shape is different. Okay, one thing in your book that I didn't cover, again, that you need to know, and it explains this at the very beginning of the chapter somewhere. If you're bonded to 4 other carbons, what number do you, like, what do you call that? Is it a tertiary carbon, a secondary carbon? What is it called? So open up your book, tell me what page that's on, and what would you... Quaternary? Okay, because there's how many quarters in a dollar? 4. So this carbon right here is bonded to 4. Okay, this carbon right here is bonded to 2. So what number would you give this one? Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so you'd say, you know, if I said this is carbon A, this is carbon B, this is carbon C, this is carbon D, this is carbon E. Which one is a secondary? What would your, what could your answer be? B or D. Those are both secondaries.
B or D?
Because see, this is connected to 2 carbon. Oh, wait a minute. No, this is connected to 3 carbons. I'm sorry. This is a tertiary. Or a 3 degree. Sorry. This one is a secondary. Okay, so you'd put 2 degree, 3 degree, 4 degree sign. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, practice naming. How much time do we have?
1 minute.
1 minute? Okay. Then with the 1 minute, let's just make sure that you're remembering. Don't let yourself miss easy points because you did not read and remember properties of carbon bonds and properties of and characteristics of alkanes. Okay, like whether they're flammable or not, whether they're soluble in water or not. Don't let yourself miss those easy points. Okay? Because they're going to be on there. And if I happen to put 10 questions on there, then that's 10 out of however many points. Okay? And those should be easy for you because all you got to do is read them and remember them. You have a lot of practice problems between your 5 quizzes that you've taken and your homework to practice. Have a great day. Yes.
Is that-
I got a question.